Oh, a little bit of travelling music there. Wasn't that good, Kate? Where's Kate gone? You're behind
I'm right
me.
here, yeah.
That's right, because the
that sounds
studio,
great.
we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people in here. It's a bit crowded. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm talking to Abby, Fletcher, Paul and their teacher John. Good morning to all of you. Morning. Now, it's the Eumundi State School. I've got it right?
Yep.
Yes, I did an introduction of a school here in the J last year and I got their name wrong and then nobody told me back then and they told me a couple of weeks ago and I was terribly embarrassed about it. Now, why you're in the studio is that I was at the closing function of the Eco Global Conference up in Eumundi last Wednesday night, and there was a presentation by the students from the Eumundi State School about worm farming and their way of saving the biosphere. In fact, saving the world. That's what you're really on about, isn't it? Saving the whole planet?
That is our main idea.
Yeah, it's not too high an achievement. You think you'll be able to get there?
No, I think the worms can do it, really.
Good, good. Now, just to start it off, and we like having a bit of fun on this program, this was supposedly the answering machine message from a state school in Queensland. I don't think it is, it's been disproven, but this is a little 1.5 minute funny piece of what could actually be said on the answering machine of a state school here, particularly one that I think has got a lot of frustrated teachers. Let's see if you find this funny.
To assist you in connecting to the right staff member, please listen to all the options before making a selection. To lie about why your child is absent, press 1. To make excuses for why your child did not do his homework, press 2. To complain about what we do, press 3. To swear at staff members, press 4. To ask why you didn't get information that have already been enclosed in your newsletter and several flyers that have been mailed to you, press 5. If you want us to raise your child, press 6. If you want to reach out and touch, slap or hit someone, press 7. To request another teacher for the 3rd time this year, press 8. To complain about bus transportation, press 9. To complain about school lunches, press 0. If you realize this is the real world and your child must be accountable and responsible for his or her own behavior, classwork and homework, and that it's not the teacher's fault for your child's lack of effort, hang up and have a nice day. If you want this in another language, move to a country that speaks it. Thank you for your interest in public education.
What do you think of that?
Amusing, definitely.
Do you reckon that happens at your school?
Not quite exactly the same.
Not quite exactly the same. One of the things that we're very interested in here is communicating obviously with the listening audience and the community radio station, bringing them in and giving them some context about why things are important in and around the biosphere. And Kate, with all of her work that she does on climate change, we've already discussed here and we'll follow it up after we've done the interview with you guys, about how important climate change is. What I'd like to do is to hear from Abby, Fletcher and Paul about what your project is and how long it's been running and why you started it. Over to you guys.
Well, it's really important that we change the predictive results of climate change. Children are 20% of the population, but they're 100% of the future. And so together we really can make a difference. And the project's been running for about a year. And
how many of you in the school are involved in it?
About 10 kids on the team, really. And we just work together and study up on the worms and just generally try and make this world a better place.
You had a model that you showed all of us that night, which said that if we do nothing and climate change actually occurs, you had a topographical model of the coastline and you showed how the water was coming in. Is that a real concern for you guys at your age?
yes, definitely, because as we get older, we will have to experience all that, so we really need to change that.
I think it was a powerful message that you gave because you looked at no effect on climate change over periods, if we do nothing, the effect of climate change on the coast. How far will the water actually come inland in this low-lying area of the Sunshine Coast? Any idea?
By 2100, it's predicted to rise about 1 metre, so it'll cover a lot of the coastline.
Okay, that's pretty serious. I remember, well, I don't actually remember, but I remember reading a story that during the Second World War there was a threat by the armies of Hitler that he was going to march into the lowlands of Holland, and he said, I have 6 foot 6 inch stormtroopers and the Queen of the day said, "I will open the dikes because they're 10 feet deep." So, you know, it gives you an idea of, even back then, the way that the lowlands in the Netherlands had been recovered from the sea. They actually operated at below sea level. And of course, what we're finding with cultural activities in the biosphere, like floating land, some of the islands in the Pacific are already going under. So tell us why you picked worms and what effect you're hoping to have from worm farming.
Okay,
Who'd like to handle it? You haven't said anything yet over here. Reflect.
Well, the fertilizer will like feed the plants,
Yep.
which will like make the plants grow, and
Yep.
then they will hopefully take in more carbon dioxide.
Okay, so you're using the capacity of the worms and their castings to turn the soil over and make it more productive.
Yep.
Okay, and by that you're trapping carbon in the soil through the plants, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've got some predictions that you can produce so many tonnes of worm poo, which is not the greatest fascinating subject.
No.
No. What are some of the volumes that you're able to produce?
well, with if we build the organic matter up to 5%, we'll lock up 150 billion tonnes of carbon dioxide inside the soil.
And that's 5% needs to be globally?
Yes.
Globally,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And how long do you think it might take you to get there?
Personally, I'm not quite sure, but
Quite a while.
Yeah, but it's a good project. You're about to say?
Yeah, if we lock up 150 billion tonnes of carbon dioxide, it's 35 billion tonnes more than what we're actually producing, so we could be ahead of it if we could do that.
The effect on agriculture of what you're doing also means that it's much less use of fertilisers, particularly phosphate fertilisers. So you're selling the castings of worms, which we describe as worm poo, but you had another interesting product there. What's the other byproduct that was in the bottles the other night?
It's the liquid, like the liquid fertilizer that is the water draining.
Call it what it is. It's worm wee, isn't it?
It drains down through all the castings and like produces a really good fertilizer that has no chemicals at all, and it's natural.
It's a product that how much of it do you produce and sell each week?
Oh well, if we wanted to really fill them up every week, we'd get lots of it.
So you're looking for a demand from the community to come and request that you produce more if there's interest out there. We've got an audience of many people listening to us, so we're not supposed to advertise on this program, but I think this is such a good story. If you were able to produce more worm wee, could people obtain it from you?
Oh, we've actually started doing that. We've got a Eumundi markets down near our school, and we're selling the stuff.
So you're
there.
entrepreneurs already.
I guess so. Yeah, it does take a bit of a toll sometimes, but it's a good project to be in.
A toll in what way?
Well, we didn't just a bit
Time.
time-wise.
time-wise.
Sometimes it doesn't quite fit in with the work,
Yeah.
and then you have to catch up. So
Of course, you're all volunteers, aren't you?
yeah.
Doing the work. You said there's 10 of you in the group?
Yes.
Yeah. And is that because you're all in the same class, or is those 10 spread across the classes at the school?
We're all part of a council, which we have within our school.
Mhm.
So then those chosen students went to the meetings, and then they decided to go with it.
And how long have you had the program running?
About a year.
Okay, so who's going to take over from you? Have you planned succession so this goes on and on?
Well, since it's not everyone in the same year, some people from this group will still be left behind. But we don't have particular successions, not yet anyway.
Something to think about for the future though, isn't it? Because
Yes.
if you're setting it up, even though it's a minor business sort of thing, the ethic and message that you're taking forward I think is really, really important.
Yeah.
There's some other schools are doing great things. What I'd like to do is on this radio program we play interviews with other people because there's some very talented presenters here that also do other interviews. And two that were sent to me recently, one is about a science teacher, an award that has been put together. Have a listen to this about what else somebody else is doing in another school.
Some of the things